Hello, everybody. Welcome to my first ever podcast. It's going to be all about DGRN. For those who doesn't know what it stands for, it's basically DG Racing Network. I think it was digital gaming, I guess it was, but we always call it DG if for shorter reasons. So, as anyways, I am your host, Ray Capone. That's what mostly everybody was calling me though for these past days. But you can just call me Ray for shorter. So in this podcast, we're gonna be talking about the three things that we're gonna talk about, and it's gonna be very lengthy, about at least about 40 or 50 minutes. So our first topic we're gonna talk about is the playoffs, which is we're gonna start about in just a moment. This one's gonna be talked about throughout the series, all from series of trucks, Bush, and Cup series. Then we're gonna get to the silly season. Gonna stutter at some of these parts, so expect me to miscorrect my spelling or wording. The second topic we're gonna go through is the silly seasons. What drivers are we gonna go to from what teams, and who is going to get moved up to the big leagues or who's going to go down to the junior races. I always usually call those. And then the third topic is the tracks that we're going to be looking at for next season's season 11 schedule. And we're going to talk about those throughout all the all the series from trucks to cups, including Bush as well. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start up opening up the DG Racing Network spreadsheet as we're going to be talking about the playoffs. So, Truck Series is a little bit interesting that I know of because we got some winners that were going on as we see some slightly different winners, as usually we see some winners that were from the different series like um HP Patrick HP from Homestead, or I think it was a road course race, I believe it was, but I may be wrong. We're not gonna go through some people who took like a one-off or in the lower series because I think that's kind of stupid to talk about. So, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and talk about through the points. So we're gonna get ready to open up, switch up to scene. Yeah. So this was pretty by far interesting for me. So we're already into after two races into the playoffs in all the series, and we see some slight battles between Makika Hops and Red Eye Fighter. Red Eye Fighter has missed unfortunate luck during the Bristol race, as what we witnessed from that one was one of the worst races in Truck's playoff history. I guess that's a bit more debate, but you could say that. But there's been a lot of cautions, and someone's gonna get like screwed out of a win like that because that's how the playoffs are, and especially it's this big of a fight. So, for these first two races, which dating back to start with Chicagoland, Genesec won the race, but I don't even remember if he was even in this. Oh yeah, he is in this. don't even notice that. Because usually he took some couple of rides in either Bush Series or Cup Series for particular no reason. So Red Knight has a great qualifying pace, basically. And I believe this is going to be one of his advantages throughout the playoffs is his qualifying pace. Because I think he had collected uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He has collected 9 poles throughout the season, including playoffs. And the next track is coming up is Kansas. This one's going to be really big. Qualifying pace is really the matter because it kind of does determine your playoff points. You just only get 5 bonus points if you get the pole. So out of all this, Red Knight basically gets 2, or not 2, 10 bonus points on the first 2 races because of the qualifying pace. But now, when we get to the race, there's going to be something different. Just like we saw in either Chicagoland and Bristol. Which, Bristol, I don't think it wasn't like Red Knight's fault. It was just unluck, and people were just like wrecking out for like absolutely no reason. But if you look at the next tracks for the Truck Series, they only have like 5 remaining on the schedule, with Kansas, Talladega, Martinsville, Phoenix, and Homestead. I may be talking a little bit low here because I'm not feeling too good for now, so pardon me if I do not speak really loud as I can do. So I think we already been to Kansas. Yeah, they already been to Kansas for the first race, and Red Knight actually won that race. So, and I think he also CRD got the pole for some reason. Um, but I think this is a track Red Knight could definitely take advantage of. And I believe the fight title. I think Red Knight will end up probably passing Monkey Got Hops for the points lead. It depends on the stages as well because stage racing, because we're trying to make this look realistic enough. But under those 2 drivers, we're looking at Bakers and Genesect. Bakers does not have a good season to whatsoever. The only wins he got is from he only has 3 wins to his name. Which I don't think it's not going to be looking good for Bakers, honestly. Like, he's a consistent driver, that's for sure, but I think he's not that much consistent enough to be able to catch up with the fight between Monkey and Red Knight. And this goes apply with Genesect, but this is going to be a little bit different. Genesect has a speed. And I'm actually saying this, he actually has the speed to do so. So he has so far 3 wins as well to his credits in this season. But most of the races he has done is either do some lag connection, which it's obviously that he says this all the time, which it's almost like we do not know about that. Yet he still continues the race. 4th in the point standings. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say about Glenn and Demi. Because I don't think the consistency wasn't there for them. So it's like all these four drivers can actually make up a fight for the title. But the very two obvious candidates to win the title is these two guys. So Kansas would be a big race for Red Knight. If Red Knight does not win that race, he's going to have to rely on Talladega. And it would have been a shocker for me if Red Knight does not win Kansas. So that being said, that's what I'm going to do for trucks for now, till we get to the third topic. Now we're going to talk about Busch. Busch has an interesting fight. It's a very interesting fight for the first two races. And this is most certainly to be a three-way fatal title fight. Or a three-way fight. But you get the meaning. I'm sure we all do. So myself, Silent, and Rainbow got taken are only capable drivers to win the title. The Busch title. I would say the most consistent driver to able to keep up with the fight is probably Silent Volcano. Silent Volcano has been leading throughout the points lead throughout the entire season until his crash in Kentucky. That actually set him out for 4 races, which they brought the regular season title together to bunch up. And then Rainbows got taken, was out for like a next, what was it, 2 races or just, no, it was just 1 race he missed out to clutch out the title, the regular season title. And then the wins from the recent races like Iowa, Nashville, New Hampshire, basically it wraps up the regular season title. Which, funny enough, that I was 7th before the first Talladega race happened in the playoffs, not playoff standings, point standings, because I was out for 4 races before this. So, and I managed to win the first race back since, and I won in the karma fashion. But let's go ahead and talk about the playoffs now. So the next race for the Busch Series, it's the Charlotte Roval. Charlotte Roval is going to be a very tough challenge for Busch drivers to compete. There's going to be death walls in there, so a 1 DNF could possibly change the whole championship wide open. It can be me, Silent, Rainbow, it can be anybody. So let's say this, for example, if us 3 crashed out and due to the death wall, these guys can stand a chance. It won't be a close gap, but it's going to be there. But now let's go ahead and recap on how the playoffs started and how we got here. Janasek out of nowhere, another 1 right off, takes the pole in Chicagoland to start off the playoffs. Not a playoff driver, so he doesn't get like bonus points or anything like that, which is not guaranteed for a for a non-playoff driver. Um, Chicagoland was a hard race to race at because there's no draft, speed changers, and everything. Um, Silent was like leading majority of the race until the last caution. He uh, he had his little moment there at the end of it, but he managed to get second, but not enough to take the win away from Rainbow. I ended up finishing third. Bristol, unlike the Bristol race that the truck series had last night before this one is pretty good though. Um, the Bush the Bush Bristol race really has some good racing. It really has some good racing between the battle between me and Silent. Um, and then those final, what was it? 10 to 15 laps. I misjudged myself and took the apron a little bit too. I slightly took the apron and then I ended up walklishing into the wall. Ended up ruining his race, but I managed to take away the victory, which is much needed because after that stage one, after stage one of that race, I don't know what's the ID number, so I don't care. The margin before that race even started was 5 points. Yeah, it was 5 points. Silent had the points lead for a moment. Then I won stage two along with him, and I believe we just tied. No, we didn't tie. So basically, Silent had like a 10-point lead after stage two. I think I brought it down within five. No, I don't think I did bring it down five. Actually, yeah, I did brought it down to five. Now that I think about it. Which this is where we at now. Um, a slightly 10-point gap heading into the Charlotte Roll. Same with Rainbow Got Taken. Rainbow's Got Taken has a very consistent season. He just, for what happened in Bristol race, wasn't meant to be. He probably finished managing to finish fourth in the Bristol race and just managed to finish fourth and third in stage one and two. And now the gap between me and Rainbow is like really big, so Rainbow needs like a slight miracle if he wants to get back into the fight, but that all has to come down to Charlotte. And I believe it's gonna be Talladega after Charlotte, Martinsville, Phoenix, and Homestead. It's an interesting fight, that's for sure. It's an interesting fight. And I believe this could go for the same well as the Cup Series. Cup Series is kind of interesting. The Cup Series is kind of the one I kind of want to debate on for the silly season, but we're not talking about that at the moment. it's, to me, it was a no shocker that he's going to be taking the points lead for the playoffs. Vargas has been consistent, but not as great. Just like on his championship run last season. Um, but there was obviously some drivers that have the capable to fight Larkins for the title, which is these two guys, My Windows Crash and Captain Birthday. Pardon me. It's hard to say that Koval is out of contention. Pardon me once again. It's hard for me to say that Koval is out of contention, even though we're just 2 races in. He might be down, but he's not out. And this goes for a ad as well. Ad, Ad didn't show up on the Bristol race. Unfortunately, that's pretty much the reason why he is where he is at to this day. But this goes the same with for HP. Even though HP is also a race winner in the Cup Series, but he is not like in his consistency consistent. I don't even care. Um, Consistency on his race pace to keep up with Larkins. Because if you look at the winners out here, nine wins captured by Larkins. And if he manages to keep this up, he's probably gonna have this title in the bag before Homestead even happened. HP, even though he won the Daytona 500, that doesn't mean that he's has the pace to keep up with Larks within 5 with 6 win in his tally. And it's real no shocker to me that he, I don't know, honestly. HP has time, but same as was for Captain as well. Captain is very consistent. Despite um actually no, what am I saying? Windows the Captain is very capable of the guys to catch up with Lark in the title fight. But the thing is, HP can be too, so HP needs like a slight miracle if he wants to get back in the fight. But with 2 races in and like about 8 races to go, it can still happen. So with the Charlotte Roval coming up, Kansas, Milwaukee, Talladega, Texas, Martinsville, Phoenix, and Homestead, HP can still be in the fight. Or else, his title hopes are dashed for. And all that has to depend on these two guys, Windows and Captain. And so with Larkin winning at Bristol, along with Windows winning the playoff opener at Chicagoland, it's safe to say. Well, I'm gonna say it's safe to say, but it's hard to say is that Windows and Larkins are gonna be the only main guys who are gonna be on the title fight for the next few races. But we'll just see. And I also do not want to say anything negativity for Google because I know the person well, so he's a very good guy to race with, so I just don't think his playoff hopes ended right there, so but this goes applies for Adrian, but I don't know. So with that being said, the playoffs after two races is pretty much on a interesting ballot. So with the Truck Series having an off week, it's going to be the Busch and the Cup Series racing this week, and they're going to be at Charlotte Roval. At the Charlotte Roval. I talk too fast for some whatever reason. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and enter to our favorite topic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this silly season, where drivers are gonna be entering the season for teams for next season. Who's going to the big leagues and who's going down? That's a question that I really want to know for, but it's something. So our first topic we're going to start with is, well, actually the first thing we're going to talk about is DG Motorsports. So DG Motorsports have a collaborated with teams from next season, and surprisingly enough, HB is going to leave a seat next season as Zachary is opening up a spot for Red Knight, which Red Knight has been consistent during the Truck Series, and now is going up all the way up to the big leagues in that span. So this means there's going to be a collaboration with Windows Crashed, Red Knight Fighter, Captain Birthday, Silent Volcano. Oh yeah, Silent Volcano is also going to DG for the Cup Series as well. Not sure who they're replacing with, but that's like all I know. And then Ad's gonna make us another start for DG Motorsports. I think the only person they lost out in here is HP or H Patrick, which that's been a thing. Has been a thing that's been going on recently. HP does not have a ride. He does not have a ride for any teams in the Cup Series. At least that's not what I think. Yeah, no, his name is not even on the Cup Series. He is like, it's almost like It's almost like he was going to an NFL team that he dreams for, but that team decides to release him. That's almost what's like HP is right now. What's that? Oh, hold up a second. All right. So yeah, I don't know who Zachary is replacing Silent with, but I'll be finding out in a second. So with EG Motorsports in the Bush Series, they are bringing up guys from the Truck Series. We don't know what guys he's going to be able to sign for in the Truck Series for DG Motorsports. But we already know is that it's going to be Damien Dozer, Genesect, and Neptune to drive for DG Motorsports in the Bush Series. Which is good for the guys who are trying to bump to the rank. Neptune, pretty consistent driver. Same with Demi. I can't say the least for Genesect. So it's something. So nobody hasn't signed for DG Motorsports and Truck Series, as that's what it says on the paper. So look, let's go ahead and talk about what these guys are signing at Front Row Motorsports, owned by none other than Larkins himself. So big moves coming out for season 11, which by far what Larkin said is going to be one of the best seasons in season 11 for Front Row Motorsports, because they're bringing in some drivers who are capable of winning races. It's questionable for Koval though. It's very questionable for Koval because um Koval barely has time to do road racing recently, and with that, he barely shows up races, but he also shows up in the playoffs. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. He almost snuck in into the playoffs, just barely. If Viking never says that he was busy doing something in IRL, but that was not the case whatsoever. But like in the playoffs, we talk about I don't know what Kova's future is probably gonna be in if he stays another season for Formula Motorsports. I just don't think he's probably gonna race us part time, but I don't not part time, full time. I meant to say. It's just that I don't know. Kova's future is really questionable for Formula Motorsports because he barely has time to race with the team, and simple as that. Also, King returning for another season, and also a big welcomes back to Rainbow's Got Taken, as he took about a season off from Cup Series to compete in the Busch Series for what reason. But now he's going to be back in the Cup Series ride for Farmer Motorsports. And then they brought in a new guy to finally to able to take on. No, I can't even say it. I'm too sick at this point. And then from Motorsports signed a big guy, a big signing. I meant to say that's going to make his full-time Cup Series season first ever. Actually, is none other than Ray Capone, who is going to be still driving in his iconic number 44, dating back since 2014. Um, this was going to be big as well because I personally was looking forward to competing in the Cup Series, and I've been looking for this for a very long time. I just did not have the time to do so. So yeah, big names up there for the Cup Series, for Frontier Motorsports, and now I think it's going to shape in for the Busch Series as well for Frontier Motorsports. The big promotion for this was for the guy named Monkey God Hobbs, going from the Truck Series of Busch. Uh, I believe this also same with Glenn as well. Yeah, this also goes for Glenn. Um, but there are some guys that he's probably going to keep in the Busch series until they find this, until he's find their potential, which would be Kirsten Michi. Kurs has been not good, to say the least, and I'm only saying that as a fact. But on his race pace, he's not kept up with his, keeping up with the speed that he has compared to the other drivers they had in Busch series. I just don't know where this is going to be. Because I don't think Kurt Skeletons is probably going to make a Cup Series ride in the next future seasons. Same goes for Michi, but that's Michi being Michi, so. But I goes to see a guy liking up going to the front row motorsports, we could probably. I want to say this. If Kovo decided to retire full time from the Cup Series, um, I think Monkey Got Hops would be the best option for Formula Motorsports. Just because Monkey Got Hops has the race pace, just like he has in the Truck Series. If he could keep this up in the Busch Series for next season, he can go up into Formula Motorsports and probably going to replace Coble with it for season 12. That's just my thing, my opinion. So, and then we got Elliot, Daniel, and Reki for the Truck Series for FRM, but we're just going to see what they do for. And then my Truck Series team, Rebel Racing Silverado, Stormy Blue Avy extends, Blue Avy extends actually, and the FK Master. Lincoln's is not going to be returning for the team next season, as he barely has time to compete. Blackout Racing, we're going to talk about that team that was owned by NC Gamer Boy. Honestly, if I was NC Gamer Boy, I would have reconsidered this of not owning a team. Because the only guy he actually managed to sign in for the Busch series is the Boom, or should I say riding for shorter. And two of these drivers have trouble of showing up to races despite on what location they're even based on. Most of these two of these guys are not in the U.S. or just anywhere in America to say this. They're like somewhere I they're like somewhere either in Europe, they're like in either New Zealand or Australia or something like that. And most of the time they having trouble with racing is is either they do not have time to make a race start with it, or they just have problems with their connections based on their Aussie connection. And I would say this is kind of be a terrible look for Blackout Racing if they're going to keep up for the next season, or for the future races to come. But we'll see. Volcano Motorsports, the guy who basically won the Truck Series last year, moved up to the big leagues and kind of. They already got their first person to sign with, which is Manny. For the Busch Series, it's only a one-car team for now. Then you got on the Truck Series, they also signed guys named of Sword and Super Rizzo. I don't know if Silent Volcano is going to make another signing for the Busch Series because Silent Volcano is going to be off his way to the Cup Series next season, and I don't think he's not going to have Manny as a solo racer for the team for the time being. JB Motorsports. So basically, it's a short reference for a guy named Jasper Bess. We call him Jasper for shorter. When I look into that team, they're more of a controversy because there are some drivers who are gonna have to argue about the signings on who's taking, who's not. I look it up to that team, and they're not looking good. If I had to say so myself, they are not looking good if this is going to be a pairing for season 11. It's literally just going to be just Jasper Bass and Tony. They're probably going to sign another driver, but who knows if they're going to sign. They're probably going to sign HP, but I doubt he's going to JB Motorsports. Team Penske, I believe Emily said that she was going to take a participate in the Cup Series for the number 12, but that's all I know. Rainbow Racing, they had like a pair for, well, Baker's is the only person they only signed for Rainbow Racing on the Busch Series as Baker's 2009. That's pretty much about it, but in the Truck Series, they have Granto 24, but that's just on what he's going to do in the Truck Series. Joe Gibbs Racing. A pair of guys like Hydra and Garlic, but actually, Hydra and Garlic can make something. They can probably do some couple of races, but I doubt if they're gonna do like a full season based on their tendencies. But that's just me, basically. But that's just me. I just don't know what this team is going to be capable to do in season 11. And once again, I'm sorry, I cannot talk cloudy as I can. I'm just not doing so well at the moment. Kickback Racing. I don't know what this team runs by, or who, I should say. I want to say it's probably Larkins who's running this team, but not for Cup at least. But I could be wrong. Kickback signing guys like Firelight and Snowy for the Bush Series. And then for the Truck Series, David Decker and Gio, and a returning likes of Emily. Now, reminder, there's two Emilys, but there's the one Emily who cannot race, and the other Emily that can actually race. And I'm actually talking about Griffin Lover 53. Shorter said. Making a return in the DG with the Truck Series. But that depends on how she is going to attend with college in the way. So, but we'll see. We'll see. And last but not least, 2311 Racing. So this team is going to be in the Cup Series, like in the pairs of 8 and 24 and Zeki Fufu. Not sure if they're going to make one more signing out of it before the start of season 11. But that's the pair they have for now, and we'll just see how that's going to go. We'll just see. Okay, with that, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the full view of what this looks like for now. So here you go. DG Motorsports for the Cup Series has My Windows Crash, Red Knight Fighter 1, Captain Birthday 9, Silent Volcano, and Adrian. That's for the Cup Series. Bush Series, Demi Dozer basically, Genesect, and Neptune. For the Bush Series, they have nobody to sign yet for the Truck Series. So, moving on to Formula Motorsports. Larkins once again making his return. Koval making a return, but possibly his last. But we'll just see after season 11. Rainbow got taken, returning to the Cup Series after a season off. After a season with Bush Series. Bush, basically. Riot King making a return. And Ray Capone making a full season debut in the Cup Series with Farmer Motorsports. For the Bush Series, Kurt Skellington stays in Bush. Glenn bumping up from Trucks to Bush. Michi remains put in the Bush Series, and Monkey Got Hobbs gets promoted from Trucks to Bush. And then they have some guys. Elliot could probably do well in the Truck Series for FRM. Elliot can do well. Daniel can do something, and Rekif, what should I say? Rebel Racing Silverado, owned by me. Stormy Blue Ivy extends, and the FK Master. Once again, we lost Lincoln's out of this. Blackout Racing, NCG Gamer Boy, and the Boom, but it's no shocker to me that they're not going to make a no-show. Volcano Motorsports, run by Silent Volcano. Manny in the Busch Series, and Sword of Super Rizzo in the trucks. JB Motorsports, owned by Jasper Bez. Just only a two pair of Jasper Bez and Tony for the Cup Series. Nothing else. Same applies for Team Pesky. I believe it's going to be the Emily who cannot drive. Second, they only the pair of that. Rainbow Racing, probably owned by Rainbow himself. Had the likes of Baker's in the Busch Series and Granto in the Truck Series. I don't know who runs this team, but it's the likes of Hydra and Garlic. I believe Hydra is owning this team. Now that I think about it, it's probably Hydra running this team. Basically. Kickback Racing, guys like Firelight and Snowy for the Busch Series. Emily who can drive, and Gio and David Decker in the Truck Series. I would say Emily will have a breakout season if she shows a lot, but that's what we're gonna be kept an eye on. (2311) Racing. I would like to. Fuck. I would like to say this was probably going to be run by Aiden to seem at least. At least. So Aiden and Zach Fufu. Zach Fufu, are going to be the pair for 2311 in the Cup Series. Okay. And with that being said, we're gonna take a slight break to try and get our thing getting together. So it'll be a real quick 5 minutes. And then we're gonna be talking about the last topic of the night. Alright. We're ready to get ready for the third and the final topic of the night. And that will be the schedule. So just recently, Zachary has announced that the schedule has been going to be released for season 11, and there's some tracks that I'm very familiar with and some tracks that are very shockingly to be added on the schedule. We're going to start with the Busch. Or not Busch, the truck series. So Daytona Road Course. So basically a normal standard NASCAR schedule. Then we get to Rockingham, then Eldora, which is the most iconic racetracks in the Division 3 schedule. Then we got Portland International, Elwood. So, and yeah, those are some few tracks that were just like shockingly on the Truck Series calendar. Well, not shocking because it's basically the same tracks they used to race on, but Portland International never raced it on there, so I don't know what it's like to be on it. So, good tell you. So, then for the Busch Series, of course, Rockingham is added. They also going to be added Montreal, the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. An F1 track. Did we race in Atlanta? For some reason, oh yeah, I think they did race in Atlanta. For some reason, it just doesn't feel like we actually raced on it. So Portland International is also going to be on there. Same with Indy. I am not sure if they're going to do the Indy Road Course or the Oval. So Elwood's going to be on there. But yeah, the new tracks that they're going to be on there is going to be Montreal, Rockingham, and Portland International. The Cup Series is going to be the one I'm actually going to be looking forward to. So Daytona 500 season opener as always. Normal, a normal NASCAR schedule like I said again. And all of a sudden we get to race number 15, which is Row Hetadog. I'm not sure that's how you say it, but I'm gonna say RA. I don't know what this track is. It's literally nowhere. So it's a fictional track, let's just say. Wilkesboro is making a return. St. Petersburg, that's gonna be interesting. Portland International, and then we got Monaco. Now, Monaco, they told me they're either gonna have to fix the track or just make a newer one. At least that's what they told me. So if they don't have find a newer track or actually fix the track, they're probably gonna have to change the track to something else. It's most likely going to be a road course track, but we don't know what it is. Heartland and Park, I don't know what. I kind of feel like this is a road course, but I just don't even know. When I look at this red red Bull, the mark of that says Indy, I kind of assume that Zach is bringing back the NASCAR oval, and this same is and that applies as well for the Busch Series. So so the Indy Oval returns for the NASCAR Oval now, guys. So that's what it seems like. Yay! And you got Elwood. Surprisingly, he didn't Mark Darlington. Michigan, Daytona, Chicagoland, Charlotte, Texas. Yeah. Well, that's going to be interesting for next season on see how these tracks are going to go do well. So my main focus is on Monaco. It's obviously a F1 circuit and has so much barriers, and I think with that track, that's probably gonna end up being so much walk glitches. I could be wrong, but yeah. Um, I think that should wrap up the first ever podcast. Thank you guys for watching. I am your host, Ray Capone. Until next time, you guys take it easy.